and welcome back. You're here again today. It's so good to see you. So, the last couple of days have been a little bit of a ramp up of intensity. So, what we're going to focus on is some chest opening, some leg recovery, and just good vibes. We're actually going to start today with a breathing technique. And I know sometimes it can be hard when you start the session, because of whatever's gone on in the day, or maybe you've got a child around you. So if you've dedicated this time now to do this 10 to 15 minutes, I'd actually suggest maybe waiting until later today when the baby isn't around and you don't have to attend to them. Or feel free to go ahead and do this, and you have access to this now, so you can always return to this workout. But this one is more about really listening to our breath and our body. So I've just got a couple of yoga blocks here for today. We're going to be using them as props. But if you don't have yoga blocks, it's absolutely fine. I'll try and give you some adjustments without them. You can get yoga blocks from anywhere. They're super cheap. They're just like foam. You can order them online. If you need that, I can send you a link, no problem at all. So I'm actually going to use this as a seat to begin with. It's just a little bit more comfortable. I don't have to think so much about my posture. Just place the block underneath the bum and then find a comfortable seated position for you. So for some people, crossing their legs really hurts the knees or the ankles. Use blankets, pillows, whatever you need to support yourself. And so if it feels safe for you, you can close your eyes, or you can just have a really light, gentle focus. But I want us to keep the chin lifted. And we're going to do a couple of inhales and exhales in through the nose, and then we're going to sigh it out through the mouth. Place the hands on the knees. We're going to inhale through the nose, nice and deep. And then just sigh out through the mouth. Again, nice big inhale all the way to the top of the head. Exhale, sigh. Final one, big inhale through the nose. And I hope you already feel more expansive from doing that and a little bit more centered. Keeping the eyes closed. Just notice the breath, the pattern that you already have with the inhalation and the exhalation. Is the breath shallow? Is it deep? Notice how the air passes through the tip of the nostril, down the back of the throat. And notice where you're sending the air. Is it more within the chest and the top of the rib cage? You feel like it gets to the lower part of the rib cage? Can you feel the breath in your back? You feel the breath in your shoulders? You feel the breath in the belly? So we're going to do a technique called Dirga Swasam. It's a 3-part breathing technique. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to inhale. We're going to try and send the breath down to the depths of the belly. And then we're going to do it in 3 parts. So let's begin, keeping those eyes closed, your soft focus. Just roll your shoulders down and back. And feel free to place the hands on the chest, the side of the rib cage, or maybe the side of the rib cage and the belly, or both hands on the belly. See which one feels supportive for you. I'm going to inhale, taking air through the top of the chest, expanding then into the rib cage, and sending the breath into the belly, but with ease. I'm not forcing the breath. And then as I exhale, I release the belly, release the rib cage, let the air flow out. Inhaling, top of the rib cage, side of the rib cage, into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, draw the side of the rib cage in. Allow the breath to exit. Inhaling slowly, top of the rib cage, side of the rib cage, into the belly. Releasing the air from the belly, the side of the rib cage, and the top of the rib cage. Now, in your own time, focus on that 3-part breathing. Make this breath your final breath. Release the hands back to the knees. Flutter your eyelids open. How did you do? I hope you can take that breath, the Dirghaswasam breath, through your day. And if you're noticing yourself feeling stressed or heightened, or if you really just need to focus in on that breath, think about those 3 parts. Center your mind onto the breath in the body, and then hopefully you can find some peace. So now we're just going to do a couple of little chest openers. Remove the block from your seat and come to a kneeling position. So if you find kneeling quite painful, and sometimes I can too, you can use your blocks as seats. So you can place the block between the knees and use it as a seat. And it's okay if you need a second block so you feel more supported and more elevated. And then your feet just kind of hug the sides of the block, and then the knees can be here. And usually that takes a little bit of pressure off the ankles, the knees. And then from here, we're just going to inhale. Roll those shoulders down and back. We're going to sit up, and then we're going to push our hips forwards. So if you have abdominal separation like I do, there's nothing to fear. It's about learning how to engage those muscles appropriately. So we're sitting up, and now I'm just going to very gently just tuck my pelvis. I'm going to keep my rib cage down. I'm going to roll those shoulders down and back and keep them to the sides of the body. And we're just going to practice relaxing the tummy here. And then exhaling, engaging the tummy, feeling support in the core. Place the hands in the small of the back. Rotate those elbows back. So now you should already feel this opening the chest. But see how here, I'm not arching through my back and opening my rib cage and letting my belly hang out. I'm still keeping that belly engaged and that rib cage down for now. If you have no abdominal separation and actually back bending feels quite nice to you, go for it. But we're just staying here today. And now we're just going to lift the chin, look up towards the ceiling. And I want you to push your hips ever so slightly forwards and squeeze your bum. Drop the head back, but we're not going for a full camel. Now, tuck the chin, just look down to the belly. Make sure that everything looks okay, no doming. If you see a little bit of doming, just see, can I lift my pelvic floor muscles more? Can I draw my belly in more so that I get rid of it? If when you do this, you notice doming, what I want you to do is ease off, just stay here, practice the breathing, practice opening the chest. Okay, we're gonna inhale again, come back to center. Release everything, give the hips a little wiggle. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, lift through the pelvic floor. Squeeze the butt cheeks, push the hips forwards, roll those shoulders down and back, drop the head back. And then ever so slightly, just pushing those hips forwards. Just taking the strength and load into the glutes. Drawing the tummy in. Preparing the body for one day to be able to do the camel pose. And just to show you, if you feel like it's accessible, you can go for full camel. But for quite a few people right now, it just might not be the right thing. Okay, good. And then inhale, drop the chin, bring it back. And we're just gonna round through the spine. So keeping my hips nice and high. I'm gonna tuck my chin, round, bring my hands down forwards, place my head onto the floor, on the top of the head. And I'm gonna lift my heels. So this is a rabbit, but it's an assisted rabbit. So I'm taking no pressure or weight into my head. I'm pressing through my shoulders, and that's just to feel supportive. If you're a little bit further along and you want to take the full rabbit, sit back onto your heels, grab the bottom of the heels, and lift the hips, push the head forwards. But that can feel a little bit disky for a lot of people. Good. Release the posture. Coming back up to sit. We're going to come into all fours position. You're going to loop your right hand through the hole. You're going to rest your shoulder on the floor. This might be enough thoracic rotation for you. I'm just going to walk my knees back a little bit more. And then if that feels okay, what we're going to do is take the top hand, left hand off the floor, point it towards the ceiling, look towards that top hand. Try and roll your shoulder open and back. Now think of the belly. So inhaling, exhale, draw the belly in, stay lifted through the pelvic floor. If that's okay, we're going to then bend the elbow, open the chest, place the elbow behind the back, thinking of that belly, angling the chin towards the left shoulder, looking up towards the ceiling. Feel free at any time to come back to the original posture where you felt supported here. Enjoying this rotation. Good. Inhale, release the arm, bring it back up to the ceiling, place it on the floor. Press yourself back up to all fours. We're going to do that on the opposite side. So inhale, take the left, loop it through the right arm. First, just feel that expansion. Inhale, take the right arm up. Look towards the ceiling. Try and turn the chin towards the right shoulder. Bring the shoulder away from the ears. Line your wrist up with the shoulder. So you're in one straight line. If that's good, bend the elbow. Place the hand behind the back. The back of the palm should be on your lower back. Roll that shoulder open, angling the chin up towards the ceiling. Feel the expansion through the chest. Feel the rotation through the rib cage. Final breath. Release the hand. Bring it back up to all fours. Cat-cow, just rounding through the spine first. Or you can call this angry cat. My yoga teacher said she felt very triggered by cow after breastfeeding and pumping, so she calls this angry cat. Articulate and roll through the spine. Inhale, look up towards the ceiling. And this is happy cat. And then tuck and round. Draw the belly in, lift through the pelvic floor. Inhale, keep your belly engaged now. And look up, arch through the spine. Last one, tuck and round. Inhale, let it go. Come back to center. So we're going to take it up to standing. Feel free to have your blocks nearby. I'll demonstrate everything with blocks or my hands so that you know what your options are. These are basically an extension of your arms when we're doing this today. And we're going to be doing longer holds, so maybe about 3 breaths rather than just 1 breath. So have your blocks nearby. We're going to start from standing. We're going to start from the top of our mat. I'm going to take my left foot back, my right foot stays there. I'm just going to rotate my heel about 45 degrees, and then I'm going to shift my hips so they're facing forwards. From here, I'm going to push my hips back, and then you can feel free, whilst keeping a flat back if you can, you're going to place the hands on the floor. But if the floor isn't accessible, I love this. Go for the tops of the blocks. And then here, just focus on a long neck, focus on breath. And so we want to feel this in the legs. We've been doing a lot of leg stuff, and I want you to just feel the stability. Maybe think about spreading the toes, noticing the weight in the feet. Hopefully you're not gripping with your toes. Sometimes we can feel a little unstable. And I want you to find that stability and balance. Good. So now I'm going to give us a little option. So you can have a little micro bend in the knee if that's good for you. I'm going to give you the option for a little bit of rotation. So I'm going to keep my front leg extended, but if you feel like it's really pulling in the back of the knee, take that little micro bend. I'm going to place my left hand on the floor, or I'm going to keep it on my block so I feel nice and aligned through my shoulders. And then I'm going to place my right hand on my hip. And just from here, I'm ever so slightly going to push into this left hand. Keep looking at the left fingertips and just rotate, rotate, rotate. So you should feel like the glute is getting a little bit of work. You feel like the hip bone is in its socket pulling you back. You're grounded through the feet, and then we're just trying to angle our body towards the right thigh. Good. And then rolling the right shoulder down and back. If you're quite flexy, feel free to take the arm up or stay here and just work the rotation, pushing into that left hand, feeling even through the feet. Nice big expansive breath. Look back down to the hand. Good. And then we're going to swap sides. So I'm placing my right hand back on my block, left, and then I'm taking my right hand to the block, and the block is on the outside of my foot, and it's in line with my foot. If in line with the foot feels really challenging, you can move the block further away from you. Feel like you have a little bit, I mean, that's probably a bit too extreme, but just a tiny bit further away from you so you feel like you have something to hold on to. Placing the left hand onto my hip. First, feel that right hand. Look down towards the fingertips. And then I'm going to open. And I'm going to open towards my left shoulder. So it's still my right foot in front. I'm just working the rotation in both different ways. Legs feel strong. Breath is even. And hopefully this side, because it's an open rotation as opposed to a closed rotation, feels a little bit easier, like you have more breath. Good. And then again, feel free to take the arm up if that feels good for you. Beautiful stuff. Bend the right knee ever so slightly. Lift yourself up. We're going to swap legs. So bringing the left foot forwards, right foot back. Angle the back foot about 45 degrees. Both hips are going to point forwards. And then pushing the hips back. Keep that belly tucked in so it's afraid of your shirt. And then just feel the stretch through here first. Remember, you can have a little micro bend in that knee. And I also want us to focus on keeping those hips nice and even so that top hip isn't opening up yet. We're keeping the hips in a straight line. We're breathing, pressing the shoulders away from the ears, looking down at the toes. Nice flat back. I'm going to take my right hand a little bit lower. I'm going to place my left hand on the hip. I'm going to do a nice inhale and then exhale. Very slowly start to rotate. I keep my eyes on my fingertips first for balance, and then we practice rotating. So it's okay for one side to feel a little bit tighter than the other. We all have imbalances. Work the stability. Try and feel even through the feet. And just see how maybe changing where the weight shifts in your body, or how you expand through the chest, how that feels. One more breath. Good stuff. Look back at the hands. Swapping hands, I'm going to bring my right block up. Place my left block down. Look at the fingertips. Right hand goes to the right hip. Inhaling. And then exhale. Opening up for that rotation. And then again, option to extend the arm out. Trying to turn the chin towards the top shoulder. Keep the shoulder away from the ear. Nice long neck. You're doing great. Final breath. Really strong and stable through your feet. Look back towards the fingertips. Inhale. Good. Bring the right foot towards the left. Well done. Nice, quick mobility today. I hope you also got some brain mind time. See you tomorrow.